Shalom and good day, everyone. Coming back to you with part 3, dealing with the playlist of the mystery of Shavuot, known as Pentecost in the Greek tongue. Um, that would lead us to the dates when Antiochus the VII, Sidetes, battled lead us to the date of the battle at the Lycus River and when he conquered Babylon. Shalom. I hope y'all enjoy the intro and part 2. Here's a picture of a coin that is minted in the image of Antiochus the seventh, Sidetes. And what I think is so interesting in this picture, notice that we see an image of the eagle. Now, if you understand what that image means or relates to or what is signifying to you, this is dealing with Edom, Esau lineage. Now, Josephus give you a lot of information dealing with the Greeks. And what you learn about the Greeks, they're not a nation of antiquity, meaning that when you go back to your foundation, like to Genesis chapter 9 and chapter 10, after the flood, you have the sons of Noah bringing forth the nations or the tribes that we have in the earth this day. Now, when you look at that lineage, you don't see uh, the nation of the Greeks listed, okay? And Josephus give us more details about that because they are a nation that came later in the earth, and they are a nation that is not of ancient or not of antiquity. They're not as old. They're still kind of new in the earth. When you read the Israelite sacred books, such as Jasper, the book of Jasper, it gives you more history or more detail how this nation was created, as well as when you read the history, not only in the book of Jasper, but no, just reading history and the sacred books of the Israelites, it'll lead into the history of how the Romans came to be, and that lineage also pertains to Edom. So this is why you see the eagle image in the coins that he has minted, okay? It's telling you something, all right? So when you read the Bible, it's very important that you know because Josephus made this clear. The Grecians are of the lineage of Japheth. Go back. Go back to your foundation and into the work of Josephus. But the Greeks come from the lineage of Edom. And how that was created in the book of Jasper, it would reveal that it was created by Edom mixing himself with the sons of Japhet, which brought forth the Greeks. This is why it's so important for us to master foundation. Now, Josephus also revealed unto us that the Greeks, it started with the Greeks. They went around changing the names of the nations or the tribes in the earth. This is why now in this day and time, it's kind of hard for you to match up who is who according to the Bible. However, Josephus revealed that there are some nations to this day in this earth that has kept their name of antiquity that was given from their forefathers. That is the name of their nation or of their tribe. Okay? So now you begin to see why the heathens start to remove a lot of things from our sacred books as well as with the Bible. Okay? So let us first get this part out the way. Oh, dealing with the image, let me give credit. This comes from wildwinds.com site. The title of that coin is Ancient Coinage of Seleucia, Antiochus the Seventh, and he was the king of the Seleucid Empire. Forgive my tongue, y'all. From 138 to 129 BC. Again, it's confirming what we learned in part 2. All right, so let me go ahead and take that off. Now let me go to this part. We have to get this out the way because I will be sharing some copyright material with you. The title of this video is Part 3, The Mystery of Shavuot / Pentecost. The date of Antiochus the VII, Sidetes, battle at Lycus / Great Zab River. Okay. Also, in the intro and in part 2, I was not able to show y'all the pictures of these books that I will share with you. So let's see what the internet does for me this time. And dealing with the work of Josephus. Oh, you want to cut up. Okay, let's start this again. Dealing with the work of Josephus. It is sold on Amazon, and I think the price they have listed is for around $17 and some change. So like I said, you can get this book for around $20 or less now. Okay, that's something that you definitely want to add to your collection. Oh, now, see, before y'all, I'm telling y'all, when I opened this up, I had no problems. No problems whatsoever. So let me do this. Let me copy this and see, can I open it up in a new tab? There we go. This is what I want to share with you. Again, there are ancient scholars and ancient historians who had used our sacred books when they was recording history and using our sacred books as reference for certain events or biblical scripture. And one of them is Robert Eisler. Okay. So he quoted from the work of Josephus. Again, it's just confirming what I shared to you in the intro. So check the intro out on that. So as you see, it's not available at this time. Okay. But that book does exist. Now, those who have, an old copy of it who sell it, I know that book can be sold in the thousands now. Okay. So the Father is giving us witnesses unto us to confirm unto us of those who have quoted from these ancient books before the heathens start to remove things. So that take care of that one. So let's do the work of Josephus. Let me go here and hit copy. Right here, as you see here, this is the copy that I have, okay, by William Winston. William Winston. All right. As you see, you can get a hardcover for $17.97 now. It's even cheaper than a paperback. Okay. So those link is listed in the Google document that you have access to now, as well as with today's notes that we'll be going over. All right, let's get this out the way. So before we begin, whether you keep Pentecost in the 3rd month or the 4th month, I just want you to keep in mind, do not stop watching the videos that will be coming out, because there are some interesting facts you need to know that I think has not been discussed, and it's dealing with the feast days that we keep, and it's dealing with the reason why we keep them. Something that I had read before, but you know how it is. You have to go back and refresh your mind, renew your spirit. And as the Father was walking me through Pentecost, I came across some other things. Okay. So this is why I'm telling you, no matter what the conclusion is or when Pentecost is, do not start watching the other videos that's coming out, because it's still something in there that pertains to you, whether you keep it in the 3rd month or the 4th month. Okay? It's dealing with the history and the origins of why you do what you do. Okay? Because remember, there is a difference between the days of Adam until we get to the days of Moshe and the Israelites. And that's all I can say on that at this time until we get to the mystery. So I can't give it to you now. We have to wait till we get to the mystery. All right. So from part 2, we have confirmed these 2 dates. Okay. According to the records of the Parthians that came from the record known as diaries. All right. So we do know that Antiochus VII conquered Babylon on the 25th or the 26th day of July in the year of 130 BC on the Gregorian calendar. We also know that before that time that they was residing at Babylon on June the 4th, on June the 13th to the 14th. They was residing, or they remained at Babylon, or you can say at Babylonia. Okay, I need to put Babylonia. You will see these words being changed out. On June the 13th or the 14th in the year of 130 BC on the Gregorian calendar. So what it's doing is giving us a range to see where would Pentecost fall on. Also, it's giving us a range for the dates of the battle that happened at the Lycus River, known as the Great Zab River. So now we have a range, okay? So this is our beginning point. So those who are well knowledgeable of the Most High calendar and familiar about the seasons, like when spring begins to end, when summer begins to end, this date range is giving us 2 seasons. We see spring, okay, because we know the 13th and the 14th is before the summer solstice, okay? And then we also have the season summer because we know July the 25th or 26th come after the summer solstice, okay? So we have a pretty good range to work with now. So the next step is, remember I told you that we would need the calendar converter, okay? The calendar converter, all right? And this is very important, okay? So we're going to use these 2 dates when we go to the calendar converter, and you'll see why. But first, we got to set a foundation, okay? We got to set a foundation. The Father blessed me to come across this concordance by Cruden. It is a old book, y'all, and I found it at like it's not a Goodwill store, but one of them secondhand stores. And little did I know there was a lot of hidden treasure in this book. And it's going to confirm unto you what I'm saying about when you're reading books that are copied, okay, by the hands of the Gentiles. You can see where the Gentile are asserting their point of view or assuming a certain thing because they don't have the knowledge or the understanding of the Most High calendar, nor of his feast days and holy days when they occur. They only have the knowledge that is presented unto them during that present day and time. Because you have to remember of the biblical prophecies that he put upon Israel. He said, according to the prophets, he spoke through the prophets, he said, I will cause you to cease from keeping my holy days and holy feast days. And he done a very good job. He used the Gentiles for that. He caused the Gentile to suppress us, to prevent us from keeping those days, and stripped us of the of the heritage, of the covenant, okay, to the point where as as each generation came, a lot of things was forgotten. Just like it was in the days of Egypt, when the children of Israel went into Egypt, they forgot of the lot of knowledge that was handed down from Adam to Noah. I mean, well, let me just go back from Adam to Enoch to Noah to Abraham to Isaac and to Jacob. So they forgot a lot of that knowledge. Okay, and you can see evidence of that, and this is why you see them still partake in the ways of the heathens. This is why you see them made a golden calf. You know, this is why you see why Joshua had to circumcise the males, because again, they was holding on to Egypt, the ways of the heathen. Okay, and that is the same thing for us now. So when you start going to these books, you have to keep that in mind when you're dealing with the Gentiles going in there translating or copying the works of the Israelites, such as the work of Josephus. So this is another proof that was going to bring us to this when we're trying to get the date of the Lycus River. And once we get the date of the Lycus River, we will also get the date of Pentecost. Okay, so I'm showing you this concordance because y'all, the Father has given me treasure here. And this is definitely towards the Christians. Listen up, Christians. And not all Christians are the same. Some of them are on the level where the Israelites are, because they have studied to show thyself approved. They know the Bible very well. They have done their due diligence. However, most Christians have been indoctrinated by the Fourth Beast Church, which is the Roman Church, which is the Catholic Church, and a lot of y'all are still keeping some of the Catholic ways. Just follow the branch, which will lead to the root. Ask yourself why we do these things. Okay. So this is a book that was published by Zonderbrand Publishing House. Okay. Here's the ISBN number. And notice the year. So this is a very old book. It first started being printed in 1930, but when Zondervan got a hold of it, it started in 1949 and continued. Okay? So what this book reveals, I want you to listen up to those who call themselves Christians. It talks about Easter, and you can find it on page 793 under the category Proper Names. Okay, and this is what it has to say about Easter. And this is going to talk about dealing with the translation that took place in the King James 1611 Bible. Okay, listen up. Easter, the Passover, the feast, a feast of the Jews. You gotta hear that. Easter, the Passover, a feast of the Jews. Y'all didn't tell you something there, but let me keep reading. This word is not properly translated, for in the original, Acts chapter 12, verse 4, it is, this is this Greek word. I see an R. Let me blow this up because I want you to see this. That's the Greek word that is given us. Okay? See this Greek word right here in Acts chapter 12, verse 4. Those who have a strong concordance of the Greek, it will confirm what this author is saying unto you. So it's telling you, and this is how we know that he's been in that Bible, that they replaced the word Passover with Easter. Passover is the correct word for the verse in Acts chapter 12, verse 4. So I'm going to read this again. This word is not properly translated, for in the original Acts chapter 12, verse 4, it is this Greek word which signifies the Passover, which was a yearly feast among the Jews, established in commemoration of the coming forth out of Egypt, and of the angels passing by and sparing the houses of the Israelites, sprinkled with blood. When the firstborn of the Egyptians were slain. Easter was a goddess of the Saxons, in honor of whom sacrifice were offered about that time of the year. The word Easter seems not to have been properly used in the English Bible or English liturgy. I want to pause because I know some Christians are like, what? But to confirm what I'm saying, all you have to do is to go to brewletter.org right here, this site right here. And you go to Acts chapter 12. It's taking a while, y'all. There we go. Acts chapter 12. It's going to take a while to get there. And when you get to Acts chapter 12, you're going to click right here because this is where you see the word Easter. I keep going past it, y'all. There we go. It is G3957. And look at this Greek word. It is Peshat. That is the Greek word for the Passover. In the Hebrew tongue, we said Peshat. P-E-S-H, I believe. Or no, P-E-A-S-H, something like that. But it means the Passover. Okay? So that is proof unto you that when you start reading these other books, and especially when you get your copy of Josephus, keep that in mind. The Gentiles been making a copy of his book or translating his book because remember the history of Josephus. Josephus wrote those books in Hebrew and he translated his own books into the Greek tongue himself. And then you have people coming behind him making a copy of a copy. So you can see how things can be easily mistranslated. Okay. Let me bring this back to. All right. Now that we got that established, we bring us to this chart. Okay. So any Christian who is following the Gregorian calendar only to know when Passover is that you call Easter, we're going to have to count you out. Because whatever you come up with ain't going to be correct to get the date of Pentecost. So in other words, you are ruled out. And this is why you see me titling you as Roman-Christian, because you're only following the Gregorian calendar. This don't include all Christians, because all Christians are not the same. Because the other Christians know that to get the correct date when the Messiah was crucified and when he was resurrected, you have to use the Hebrew calendar that was set in Genesis chapter 1, verse 14. So if you're not using that calendar and you're only following the Gregorian calendar, I don't care what date you have for your Pentecost, it's not going to be correct. So we can't use your information. Okay? Can't use it. All right. Now this brings us to the Israelites because we have different sects among us. Even Josephus talk about the different sects, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. And even today, we have different assemblies, leaders who have, there's many ways how they count for Pentecost. Okay, so we're going to just go through and look at these things. But to get the correct date of Pentecost, you have to know these three things. You have to know You have to have your Passover to fall on the V14 in the Most High calendar. You have to know his Sabbath day during that period of time. Okay. And you have to know when the Israelite will bring their sheaf weight offering. You have to get that date. Those are the three must requirements you must know in order to get the correct day for Shavuot, which is spoken in the Greek tongue, Pentecost. Okay. Now, and we do have Gentiles following the same method of what the Israelites follow now today. Okay. Now, everyone are in agreement that the Messiah was crucified on a V14. That is no problem. But this is where some of the Israelites were different on dealing with the Sabbath day. For example, some Israelites believe that the Sabbath day of Yah falls on the heathen day that they call Saturnine day, known as Saturday. Then you have the rest of the Israelites who believe, and I'm not saying this is everybody, because you always got a few that's a little different, but I'm just talking about as the majority believe that the Sabbath is determined by the heavens based on what is written in Genesis chapter 1, verse 14. So those Israelites today, like myself, are using the heavens to determine when is the Sabbath day. Okay? There's a ton of videos and information that's provided on the calendar that looks at the Gregorian calendar and tell you about the greatest error they made. So in other words, if you need more information about that, go to the channel and look at the playlist about the 7-day confirmed. It gives you the history and the proof. I'm talking about facts. Okay. So we're going to look at both, and you're going to see why. We have to look at all these different methods to look at when was Pentecost. Okay. You're going to see why. And then the third part is the sheaf weight offering day. Now, the Jewish today, you don't really hear them talk about what is the sheaf weight offering day, because they don't believe in the Messiah that's written in the 1611 Bible. They're still waiting for their Messiah to come. So with the Jewish, this is why you see them count different. They usually count the first Saturday that comes after a V14. And by them doing that, they just count 50 days. They count that first Saturday that comes after a V14 as day 1. And when they get to the 50th day, it usually fall on Sivan 6 or Sivan 7. Okay? Now, with this counting method, this Sivan 6 or Sivan 7 is going to rotate on the Gregorian calendar, so it can fall on any day of the weekday. Okay? And this is why you see me still put it under the Pharisees, because we're going to talk about an ongoing debate dealing with the Pharisees and the Sadducees on how they kept Pentecost and what day of the week it falls on. So by the Pharisees either considering the sheaf weight offering day to be a V16, or counting on Saturday, the first Saturday that follows after a V14, you're going to usually see them fall on this day. Okay, so that's one of the dates we're going to use. All right, you're going to see why. Now, for the Israelites who are using the heavens, okay, based on Genesis 1:14, we know that the sheaf weight offering date is a V16. It has to be confirmed by Leviticus. I'm going to put chapter 23, because you got to read a whole chapter. Okay. Looking at Leviticus chapter 23, Joshua chapter 5, and the gospel. Because we know what? Remember what I shared with you on the intro. the physical going hand with the spiritual. The heavens going hand with the earth. The carnal going hand with the spiritual. It was something else I want to say, but I hope you are getting the connection, meaning that whatever was written in Torah, it foreshadowed what the Messiah will do. The Father always gives us a physical example to understand what the Messiah will do. And one of the confirmation that's going to lock it in between when you read Leviticus chapter 23 and the gospel, that in the days of Joshua, the manna is what? Which is what? The bread of heaven, which is the precept to John chapter 6, ceased on Aviv 16. That is the Mar after Aviv 15, signifying unto us that the Messiah will resurrect on that day and return back unto his Father to sit on his right hand. Now, there's a mystery that takes place on the V14. I know most of y'all are already thinking about the 3 days and 3 nights, but that's a mystery that took place that many overlook. The channel talks about that too. So go to the channel, go to the playlist of the holy days or holy feast days, or go to the playlist that dealing with the calendar of Yah. It's right on the main page, and it'll walk you through it step by step and giving you the scriptures. Okay? But remember, there's always a physical sign that is written in Torah and by the books of the prophets and with the historical books that is manifested or shown in the gospel. So just like the heavens give the sign unto us in the earth when to keep these holy days and holy feast days, or when to tell the earth to bring forth certain crops such as the barley, the wheat, and the grapes, and etc. Remember, the heaven manifests the sign, and the earth bring it forth in the physical. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. These things are connected. The Father always give a sign. Go back and read Torah. Just like the circumcision is a sign. The keeping of the Sabbath is a sign. Him showing us the lights in the heavens are a sign, right? So it's always a confirmation that the Father will provide unto us by giving us what? 2 or 3 witnesses. Remember your foundation. So the next one we're going to look at, like I said, we're going to plug that day in, because usually those who follow Genesis chapter 1 verse 14 will keep Shavuot in the 4th month, in the 4th month on the 28th day or 29th day. The reason why we have that variation, because the days of the moon can be 29 or 30 because of what first Enoch said unto us. The total number of days of the moon can be 29 and a half. But remember, read 1st, 2nd, and 3rd Enoch's writings. All right. Now we're also going to look at Brother Yahusha method of how he keep Pentecost. And we're going to go to his calendar. Now, the day that he start counting for the 50 days falls on the V the 22nd. Okay? Because his Sabbath day is, I need to correct this, the 21st. Okay? And when he does that, when he count 50 days, his Shavuot or his Pentecost day will fall on Sivan the 12th or Sivan the 13th. Okay? Sivan the 12th or Sivan the 13th. So we're going to go to his calendar. But before I go to his calendar, we're going to talk about the Essenes a little bit. I'm just going to go ahead and give you that date. Now, our Father's telling me to wait. Okay, I'm going to wait. So we're going to go to Brother Yahusha Calendar. And that link is right here. Just click on that. Click on Yahusha Calendar. And you'll go right to it. And it's going to take you to this site here. So here's his records from 1994 to 2007. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to the last one, okay? So you can get a better idea. All right? So let me take you all the way down first. So his last day entry was March the 21st in the year 2007, and that is his first day for Aviv. So we're going to back this up, and as we back this up, we're going to end in the year of 2006. Okay, 2006. So the first day of Aviv that fell in 2006 fell on a Friday on March the 31st. Okay? Fell on a Friday on March the 31st, 2006. This is Brother YAHUAH Calendar. Okay? So his day of the Passover in that year fell on a Thursday in the evening. Okay? On April the 13th in the year of 2006. So his format is this following. Listen up. His first Sabbath, which is the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, which is the 15th day of Aviv, falls on a Friday, April the 14th in 2006. Then the Sabbath day that he has listed in red, which is the 7th day, falls on Aviv the 21st day, which falls on the heathens calendar on a Thursday on April the 20th in 2006. So his sheaf weight offering day, like you see here, presentation day, first day count for Feast of Weeks, starts on Aviv the 22nd day. That's day one of his 50-day count, which falls on the heathen day on a Friday on April the 21st in 2006. So he begins to number his days until we get to the 50th day, which is here. The 50th day will fall on the third month on the 12th day, on the heathen day known as Friday, in their month of June the 9th, 2006. So again, this can have variation when when you have 29 or 30 days in the moon. So it can be either Sivan the 12th or Sivan the 13th. Now, in the past, when I came to awaken to being an Israelite and I start following YAHUAH Calendar, as far as trying to learn it, I do remember he would have his Peshat to fall on a Monday. And sometimes he would add an extra day. Like some would have their, not Peshat, some would have their Pentecost to fall on a Sunday, but for him, it would fall on a Monday because sometimes he would add an extra day. Again, you have to watch his videos to see what method he's using because he does change up sometimes, y'all. But this is his way of calculating the Pentecost. So he's basing it on, as far as his Sabbath day, he's basing the Sabbath day on Aviv the 21st. So he's counting this second Sabbath because the first Sabbath in the Feast of Unleavened Bread is your Holy Convocation Day that falls on Aviv 15th. Okay? But he's not going by that one. Instead, he's going by this Sabbath day, which is the 7th day, on Aviv the 21st. So that's how he does his count. All right? Very important to know these things. And you're going to see why. Everything, by looking at everybody's method, is going to help us to get the date. Okay? Now you see why when you start reading them other sources, how they assume something is because of whatever method they're looking at of the Israelites keeping or the Jewish keeping, that's what they base it on. But what, as you see here, what I'm doing that is different from all of them, I'm looking at all the methods because we're going to plug all these methods in. And you're going to see why. Which give us to the fourth set. And speaking of the sects of the Israelites, just like we got different sects of us, of the Hebrew Israelites or of the Israelites today, we all got different what? Doctrines, beliefs. Okay. Well, that was the same thing in the days of our ancestors. Read the book of Josephus. He tells you the difference between the Pharisees and the Sadducees and the Essenes. Also, there was other sects such as these on Sakari. Yeah. So y'all, it's nothing new beneath the sun. Now, when we look at the Essenes, they have their date of the Pentecost or the feast of the first fruits of the grain being as Sivan the 15th. Now, how I got this date is from the Dead Sea Scrolls. So, according to the translations that's been done by the Gentiles, they said that their sheaf-ware offering day or first fruits are presented on Aviv the 26th. Again, when you count 50 days, because this is day one, the 50th day we usually land on Sivan the 15th because they're based off a moon having 30 days in this month. Okay, this is dealing with the Essenes. So I want to bring this up in the upcoming videos dealing with the mystery of Shavuot. I will be elaborating on the origins of the Essenes date regarding the Feast of Weeks. So what I did for you, I posted the index so you can find the writings of Josephus and what he said about the Essenes, because they are listed in Antiquities. In the book of Antiquities, chapter 15, and chapter 13 and chapter 17. They're also listed in the book of War, chapter 2. Not chapter 2, book 2. Okay, so you want to check that out. Okay, so that's your homework to do for the next coming videos, because we're going to talk about these guys too. The next thing I have to read to you, this is very important, you'll see why, is dealing with Antiquities chapter 13 Antiquities book 13 chapter 10 section 6. Okay, and this is dealing with some historical information showing you why Hyrcanus left the sect of the Pharisees. So let's find out why. Why did he do this? Now, there was one Jonathan, a very good friend of Hyrcanus. Now, Hyrcanus is the high priest of Israel. This is the same high priest that accompanied Antiochus the VII to the battle at the Lycus River. Okay, so Jonathan was a great friend of his, but of the sect of the Sadducees, whose notions are quite contrary to those of the Pharisees. So this let us know that Jonathan was from the sect of the Sadducees. Okay, but yet these two guys were good friends. He told Hyrcanus that Eleazar had cast such a reproach upon him according to the common sentiments of all the Pharisees, that this would be made manifest if he would, make sure I can follow my line, if he would but ask them the question, what punishment they thought this man deserved, for that he might depend upon it, that the reproach was not laid on him with their approbations, if they were for punishing him as his crime deserved. Don't that sound familiar of what the Messiah was saying to them in the gospel? Okay, but let's keep reading. So the Pharisee made answer that he deserved stripes and bonds, but that it did not seem right to punish reproaches with death. And indeed the Pharisees, even upon other occasions, are not apt to be severe in punishments. At this gentle sentence, Hyrcanus was very angry, and though that this man reproached him by their approbations, it was this Jonathan who chiefly irritated him and influenced him so far that he made him leave the party of the Pharisees and abolished the decrees they had imposed on the people, and to punish those that observe them. From this source arose that hatred which he and his sons met with from the multitude. But of these matters we shall speak hereafter. So the people, the Israelites, got mad at Hyrcanus for leaving the sects of the Pharisees. But we'll keep reading. We're going to find out why. Because y'all, it's like this now. Those who are walking with Torah, we are few in number. Those who follow the ways of the Pharisees, they are great in number. But let's keep going. From this source arose, what I will now explain is this, that the Pharisees, so this is Josephus talking himself. Remember, he was of that sect too, so he know about them. He know their doctrines, their beliefs. And remember, Josephus had access to Torah and to the sacred writings. Okay? So Josephus saying this about this. So he's going to explain about the Pharisees sect. That the Pharisees have delivered to the people a great many observances by successions from their forefathers, which are not written in the laws of Moshe. Do y'all hear that? They're going by the customs and traditions that came from their forefathers, which came from the heathen, which came from the heathen nations, such as Egypt and Babylon, which came from the principalities of Satan, which is Satan, because we know the written laws of Moses came from heaven above, from our father YAHUAH. Okay, so this is proof of what I'm saying. And even the gospel will give you that example. We talked about that in the intro. Go back to the intro. It's in the gospel. And for that reason, it is that for that reason, it is that the Sadducees rejected them. So that's why the Pharisees and the Sadducees didn't get along, because they wanted to follow the laws of Moses. But the Pharisees wanted to follow the laws, these customs and traditions of their forefathers. This is where the Talmud come in, y'all, the oral law. Okay? So the Sadducees reject the Pharisees and say that we are to esteem those observances to be obligatory, which are in the written word, but are not to observe what are derived from the traditions of our forefathers. And concerning these things, it is that great disputes and differences have arisen among them, while the Sadducees are able to persuade none but the rich, and have not the populace obsequious to them. So the Sadducees had the rich following them, but the majority, as we're going to see here, but the Pharisees had the multitude on their side. And we can see why. They was lenient in the punishments. So of course the majority want the Pharisees to be over them, because they wasn't harsh in their punishments towards them. Okay. But about these two sects and that of the Essenes, I have treated accurately in the second book of the Jewish affairs. This came from Antiquities, book 13, chapter 10, section 6. So the reason why I'm bringing this out, as you do your research about Pentecost, some of the ongoing debate that's out there on the internet, you will find this. Some are saying that the Sadducees kept Pentecost on a Sunday. So but they're saying that Pentecost for them, for the Sadducees, will always fall on Sunday. Okay? While the Pharisees, Pentecost fall on any day of the week of the Roman calendar. And we can see that taking place when we look at those who count for the Pentecost, starting with the Saturday that comes after a V14. So you're going to have a rotation for those who follow that method. Okay? But however, we're going to let the dates speak. What are the dates that we got from that historical book? We'll go back to the top. What are these two dates going to tell us? Okay? Now we're going to the calendar converter. Now we get into the juicy part, what the part you've been waiting for, right? Here is just a photo just showing you to confirm that the Jewish today that we call the YAHUAH, dealing with the Song of Moses that's written in Deuteronomy, I think it's chapter 31. But if you have time, read chapter 30, chapter 31, and chapter 32, and you will see the Song of Moses. For them, they celebrate again their Pentecost. As you see, the word Pentecost is a Greek word, okay, and it means 50. As you see here, they usually keep it on Savan 6 or Savan 7, okay, depending on how it falls. So now we're going to the Rosetta Calendar. This calendar here that I'm going to take you to, let me get it to refresh. This is calendar here will help you convert the date. Okay. If you have a Gregorian date, it will convert it to the Judean calendar date and the Hebrew date. If you have the Hebrew date, it will convert it as vice versa. And what I like about it, even give you the Gregorian calendar set up. But notice here, this is based on Rome. So the first day in Rome starts on a Sunday. Okay. This column over here starts on a Sunday and ends on a Saturday. Very important to know. All right. So when we look at that historical event, okay, and we start plugging some dates, and I'm going to take it to the chart first. Some things that we need to keep in mind as we're looking at these dates. When we look at the work of Josephus during that particular time, we know there was 2 days that they stayed at the Lycus River because it was holy unto Yah. You know, they couldn't travel. And those 2 days was Pentecost and the Sabbath day. Okay. Now, to determine which method should we use to get Pentecost, we have to convert the date of the Gregorian date to the Hebrew date. So remember I told you about that range. The range is in orange, right here in orange. So when I put in June the 13th, okay, for the year of 130 BC, let's do that together now. On the Gregorian date, it was June 13th. In the year of 130 BC, you would get a Hebrew date. Oh, I have an AD. I'm sorry, y'all. But I changed it. Right here, you see it's negative in the Judean, business. And then you get the Judean date in the astronomical. But in the BC year, when I convert June the 13th or 130 BC, when I convert it to the Hebrew date, I get it to fall in the 4th month of the Hebrew calendar on the 8th day. In the Jewish year, this is the year I had here, it fall in their 3,631st year. Okay? That's what that date fall on. So we're going back to the chart. So if I did the same thing with June the 14th, all we have to do is add a day. It would fall on the Hebrew calendar month, which is the 4th month. Okay? Now y'all see where I'm going with this. Then we're also gonna do the same with the date when he entered Babylon and conquer it. Okay? So when I put in July the 25th, 130 BC, you would get a Hebrew date falling in Ab. This is the 5th month and 21st day. And this is the Jewish year of 3,631. So look here in orange. Notice how it rotates on the heathen day. Again, July the 25th falls on a Tuesday. Okay. And it fell on the Hebrew month A, which is the 5th month. And on the 21st day of the 5th month on the Hebrew date. If we do the same on for July the 26th, which falls on a Wednesday, on the Hebrew month, it falls in the 5th month and 22nd day. You just add a day up. So what it's doing is giving us a range. It's let us know that Pentecost has to fall somewhere between the 4th month and the 5th month, somewhere in that range. You know what I'm saying? Not giving you the day yet, but I'm just telling you that range. That's the range. Okay? During that particular time in that particular year. Again, you have to be well studied in the Hebrew calendar month, okay? Because it does rotate on the Gregorian calendar. Sometimes the beginning of our year can start in March, and in other years it can start in April. This is what I'm saying. You have to be knowledgeable on that. Okay? So before we talk about the next part, which is Passover, because you definitely want to get your Passover date, all right? That's very important. I need to take you to, now this is on the calendar that we have today. When you go to the yearly summary sheet, and it's also on the calendar itself, and you scroll down to the bottom, I've been keeping a record of the year from Adam, as well as Brother Yahusha, Beta Israel, as well as the Jewish. So remember I was telling you about that 3,000 year that you see here? That's what that comes from. Okay? And this is my Gregorian years, because you know the father year falls on two of or in between the Gregorian years. Okay? So like I said, Wikipedia be giving you some clues. I had a formula dealing with Beta Israel. Now these are the Jews of Ethiopia, and I used that formula to get their year. And you know what, y'all? When I came across one of them, it matched up, because for this year, Beta Israel date is in the 7,093rd year from Adam. So it matched up, because you know in the 7th month, that's when we increase a year. Same thing with the Jewish. I'm in keeping a record with them. They're in their 5,782nd year. Okay. For myself, I'm in the 7,521st year. I'm sorry, that's Brother Yahusha. He's in his 7,520 year. And you go on that website, go on the Jubilee, and you'll see how he got his years on his website. And then for myself, I got 7,489. That's what I have so far for those who keep a record of time with the calendar and the timeline. Oh yeah, there's a way to do it. Father will show you how. So this is where this is coming from. All right. But when you go to the Rosetta calendar, the year, the Hebrew year, is based off of the Jewish, the YAHUAH. Makes sense, because if you know the Song of Moses and the prophecy about those that will take our identity, the world's following them right now. Okay? Makes sense. Okay? So you have access to this chart. You can find it in two places. You go to the description box under the Most High Calendar. You will find it as the last page as you scroll through the calendar for this year, of the year of 2021 to 2022. Or you can find it under the yearly summary sheet. So that's in the video description box. Okay. Now getting back to the Rosetta calendar. Now that we have that information, I know what my year is for the Hebrew calendar based on the Jewish, right? I want to know what my date would be for the Passover, right? So all I have to do is change my month and my day now, right? So I would find, let's see here. So they're using the word nice in this. So they're going after, behind the words that my people use. They came out of Babylon. And we know on a V, the Passover day is the 14th day, right? All I have to do is hit convert. So my Passover day will fall on March the 22nd day in 130 BC in the Gregorian calendar, which is a Wednesday. Okay? Notice here how that numbers light up in red for the calendar month of March. Wednesday. Okay, so this is Wednesday. You go to your left side, this will be Tuesday. The 21st will be Tuesday. The 20th will be Monday. And the 19th will be Sunday. Okay, so for those who want to count 50, you will start counting 50 on Saturday, which is March the 25th. And I have done that already myself. And it will line up to them having Pentecost on Sivan 7. That's how the Jewish does it. Okay. So that's a very important date to have on this chart. Now for your sheaf ware offering day, okay, I ought to explain how we got that. When I plug that in, all you got to do is simple math. We know that's on the 16th day of VII. So 14 minus 16 is 2, right? That's if you didn't want to go back to the calculator. So the date is going to fall March. We add 2 to 22, we get 24, and it will fall on a Friday. Very important. We're going to write all this information down. So now we have to decide of the different people, assembly, sects or group, or Israelites versus Jewish, what method can we plug in this calculator to get the date of the battle of the Lycus River? What method going to fit in? So I'll explain to you about these 4 methods. Okay, we have here the Jewish, Sivan 6 or 7. We have those who follow Genesis 1:14, the 4th month, 28 or 29th day. We have those who are following Brother YAHUAH. They either fall on Sivan the 12th or the 13th. And then we have the Essenes. They automatically, this is their set day, it's Sivan 15. Okay? So by knowing that information, I just plug it all in the chart to compare and see which one will fall within the range. And the range I'm talking about, what's going to fall between these orange lines. Okay? So when we look at the Jewish, let's plug in Sivan 7. Sivan 7. Let's see what we get. When we plug in Sivan 7, we would get May the 13th in the year of 130 BC. Okay, so let's go back to the chart and we plug that in as May the 13th. And as you see here, it falls on a Saturday. Okay. That's when they would have their Pentecost. And now you see why I'm mentioning what I was telling you about, how they're saying that the Pharisees' Pentecost days can vary throughout the weekday, where the Sadducee Pentecost will always fall on a Sunday. So that's why I mentioned that to you, because I know you might come across that in your research. But for that particular year, it fell on a Saturday. So if you want to figure out what would be the date of the Jewish Pentecost on Sivan 6 in the Gregorian calendar, you can do simple math, or you can use that calculator. And you will have access to that calculator by clicking on the link. It's right here in this document. Let me go back up to the top. Right here. When you see rosettacalendar.com, click on that link and you have access to it. Okay. All you got to do is simple math or use the calendar, and you will see that Sivan 6 fell on May 12th, which was a Friday. Okay. Now we will look at Brother YAHUAH, the same thing. His Pentecost usually fall on Sivan the 12th. So when we go in and plug it on the Rosetta Calendar, change this day to the 12th, it would fall on the heathen day known as Thursday in the Gregorian calendar in the month of May on the 18th day in 130 BC. Okay, so we go back to the chart and we plug that in. And if you want to see what that day would be for the 13th day of Sivan, you can just do simple math or use your Rosetta Calendar calculator, and you would see that Sivan the 13th will fall on a Friday, May the 19th. Okay. So when we compare all this information here, because I haven't got to the other piece yet, do these days of the Jewish, like Sivan 7, Sivan 6 or 7, or Hashura's dates, Sivan 12 or 13, fall in the range between June the 13th/14th to July the 25th/26th? Do it fall in there? No, it don't. So this is how we know we can rule out these other alternatives of calculating Pentecost. So the last one that is left is dealing with Genesis chapter 1 verse 14. Okay? Genesis chapter 1 verse 14. So because we are using the formula of counting 7 complete Sabbaths and 50 days, okay? We are using that formula, and we are going by the sheepware offering day being on the 16th, which is confirmed by the book of Joshua, okay, by Torah, the work of Josephus, and by the gospel. With all that information I just went over with you, I just start plugging the dates, okay? So when I go to my Rosetta calendar, usually, when the days are perfect, when you don't have that variation between 29 to 30 days with the month of the moon. When I plug in the 4th month, usually Pentecost will fall on the 28th day. Okay, maybe we'll have variation because of the days of the moon. Okay, so when I plug that information in, I get it to fall on July the 3rd in the year of 130 BC, which is a Monday. Okay, so I'll go back to my calendar and plug that information in. Now, there are times because of the moon, like I said, for a V, she could be 20, 29 or 30 days. For, I'm sorry, I need to back that up. The way we do our count, like I said, that's on the channel. When we do the 7-week count, it's not affected by the days of the moon. The days of the moon affect when we start doing the 50-day count, going from the 3rd month of the Most High calendar, which is Sivan, to the 4th month of his calendar. So depending on how many days of the moon are in Sivan will determine if we keep Shavuot on the 28th day or the 29th day. Okay? Sorry about that. So by me plugging this information in, on the 4th month, for us, Genesis 1:14, Pentecost will fall on the 28th day. Okay? When we convert that to the Gregorian calendar, it falls on July the 3rd. And we know that July the 3rd comes way after the summer solstice, and that's fall in the season of summer. Okay? Do y'all see what's going on here now? Now, when we look at the other ones, how they calculate their dates for Pentecost, they fall in spring, right? Okay? Now, if it did fall on the 29th day, okay, notice that when we convert that date on the Gregorian calendar, you get July the 4th. Again, it'll fall in summer. So according to the record Josephus and many other historians, such as Nicholas of Damascus, we know Antiochus stayed there at the Lycus River for 2 days. Very important. He stayed there at the Lycus River for 2 days. And as we go through the other sources to confirm what we read in the work of Josephus and also in that historical book by Shan, okay, because I got some pictures down below, you will see that all them saying that he stayed at the Lycus River for 2 days. So those 2 days are July the July the 3rd and July the 4th. Okay? Because when I count out the 50 days starting from the 3rd month to the 4th month, okay, the 50th day landed on the 28th day of the 4th month. I'm going to say this again. The 50-day count landed on the 28th day of the 4th month, which was summer. And also in agriculture, because I'm from the South and my daddy is used to farm. And also I remember growing up as a little girl how everybody have gardens and stuff in their backyard. This is what he told me himself. He said wheat is only ripened in the summertime. So we have agriculture to confirm or to prove what I'm saying. So definitely check that playlist out of Where's Your Wheat. That would back it up as well. So we have the 2 days where he stayed at the Lycus River. Okay. So by us having that information, when we go to the work of Josephus, okay, so let me go to the top and scroll this up of what we read. Notice what Nicholas of Damascus says. He says this: when Antiochus had erected a trophy at the river Lycus upon his conquest of Endates, the general of the Parthians, he stayed there 2 days. He stayed there 2 days. So we know they didn't fight on the 28th and they didn't fight on the 29th. They just stayed there 2 days, keeping honor of that festival. So it had to be the day before at least when he erected the trophy at the river Lycus. And the day before that had to be, make sure I don't want to scroll down yet, was July the 2nd, which would fall. So that'd be the 4th month, the 27th day. I'll convert that right quick. Which would be July the 2nd, 130 BC. That falls on a Sunday. It fell on a Sunday. Okay. Now, looking at this thing, I know what Mo's going to say, but if you read the rest of the sentence, it's saying that Pentecost came following or after the Sabbath. Again, this part I'm telling y'all is dealing with the translator. I wish they had posted the original text so we can look at the language, because here's the part when I first read it. The way this translator written it, I'm looking at the translator name now. William Winston translated. This is the way he wrote it. He said, he said, for that festival, which we call Pentecost, did then fall out to be the next day. When I read that part here, it said fell out to be the next day. Okay, because y'all know what I followed Genesis 1:14. He said fell out to be the next day to the Sabbath. When I first read this, I interpreted that Pentecost fell out to be the next day beside the Sabbath. So it was Pentecost first, then the Sabbath. Because I already done confirmed to you, you can't do it the Christian way. You can't use the Gregorian calendar, and it won't fall on a Sunday. Remember, on the Hebrew calendar, it's going to rotate. And to prove this, do not Passover day rotate on the Gregorian calendar. Do not the Sheeway Offering Day of the 16th rotate on the Gregorian calendar. So that would be the same thing for your Pentecost day. It would not always fall on a Sunday. So it's kind of interesting how Winston wrote this, translate this passage, because he didn't do it the same like everybody else. Because most people would say Pentecost that came out to be the day after the Sabbath. But it's funny how he chooses to word it like this. So whoever read this, I can see how both sides can interpret it either way. Okay, I can see how that happens. But it's a reason why I feel like he wrote it like that in comparison to how everybody else translated like that. It's telling us something maybe, or maybe he just made an error on his part. Who knows? But what's going to speak are the facts, the historical dates. That's what's going to speak and confirm things. Also, looking at agriculture is going to confirm things. But what's going to lock it in is the living word of Yah. looking at the book of Joshua, Torah, and the gospel. Okay, so that would confirm it. So this is the only method that fell between June the 13th and the 14th and July the 25th and the 26th. The other methods by the Jewish and by Brother Hashur, it did not. So this is the proof and evidence. Okay, let's look at some other things. This is a book come from the Septuagint Sages in Scripture. Studies in honor of Jahan Cook in the year of 2016. Publishers by Brill. And those are the list of the editors, and I give the links. Okay. Again, here is just confirming what was written in the work of Josephus. They're saying the same thing. Okay. And how I'm showing you that how most people are wording with Pentecost. They said that for the festival of Pentecost had come round following the Sabbath, and we are not permitted to travel either on the Sabbath or on the festival. So how most translations that words the work of Josephus, they're going to have Pentecost being coming after the Sabbath. But according to the facts and the history and the Bible, Pentecost came the next day after Antiochus erected a trophy at the Lycus River. So we have our date now, July the 2nd. That fell on a Sunday in 130 BC. Which makes sense because it's close to the day when he came to Babylonia. That is what? July the 25th or July the 26th. Let's keep looking at some other stuff. Here I just list, this picture here is showing you how they are making references to Josephus and Diodorus and, many others. Now, in this picture here, let me blow this up so you can make sure, so you can see this too. It's aligned to what we read in the book with Antiochus and dealing with diaries. Okay, right here, I'm going to read this little line right here. It says in number 11, it says, an astronomical diary from Babylon shows that the Parthians captured Demetrius II. Notice here they got it in the Solution era year. Roman numeral 4.174. When they converted to the Gregorian date, they get July on the 7th or 8th day to August the 4th or 5th day in the year of 138 BCE. Okay, so that was during the time near when Antiochus Sidetes came to rule. Could we see why? Demetrius was captured, his brother. Okay, so when we convert the Seleucian month number 4, going back to the chart, let me see, I got my chart here on hand. Number 4, it lines up with the month July. So let me take you to that part. So it said Roman numeral number 4 of the Seleucian year. So this is my Seleucian calendar month. This is my Seleucian column. We go to number 4, and we go to the Gregorian side. It matches up with July. Okay. So I was just showing you that as evidence and proof that the book we was looking at is giving us the same thing. So that's lining up. Okay. We almost get there, guys. I'm about done. Just trying to get to, okay, this piece. Then I posted this piece here from Wikipedia dealing with Antiochus VII. Again, what this basically says here, that when he defeated Indates at the Great Zab River, following after that, a lot of sources are going to say either following after that or on the same day or near the time when he defeated Indians. Okay. Then there was a rising that happened to the Parthian governor of Babylonia. He was killed. Okay. And it goes on to say Antiochus conquered Babylonia and occupied Susa, where he minted coins. And they have found coins to prove that he reigned over Babylonia from July 130 BC to November 129 BC. Okay. So I'm just showing you that, to show that all these facts are lining up. So after he conquered in dates, shortly, either on the same day or shortly following after that time, then you have the citizens who was of Greek origins arise against this Parthian governor known as Antiochus. How they gouged his eyes out, they killed him, and and that book talks about him too. Okay. Again, I just post some information from Wikipedia then with Zab, letting you know that it joins to the Tigris River when we look at the maps. Okay. This is the Great Zab or the Lycus River. See how it flows in the Tigris River right here. And we're going to go to this book. All right. I'm trying to see which one I want to go to. Let me see. Let's start with the first one. Let's start with Amazon. Okay, we're going to look inside of it. Okay, and then we'll go to the maps. Then the maps we're going to look at. Eventually we get there. I want you to definitely check out those maps. I mean, he has some good information in there. If I can get to it. All right. Okay. Let's see which map we want to look at. We want to look at map 1A, 2B, and 3B. Okay. Okay, that's 1B. 1A dealing with the Hellenistic. And let me blow this up. Just to give you an idea where Mesopotamia is and Babylonia is in this area here. You see the Tigris River over here. We see Seleucus on the Tigris here. Okay, and this city here it's also listed on the Google document. I cannot say that city name, but it's the opposite of Seleucus on the Tigris River. We also see Seleucus dealing with this is it's actually named Susa and that housing in the area of Elymius. Okay, so that's what I like about his maps. It gives you more detail and an idea. Okay, where did Antiochus VII go when he was doing this campaign against the Parthians? Okay, 1B. This is the Hellenistic map here. That's interesting, take a look at. Okay, let's keep going. Yeah, 2B. This is right here. Babylonia, right there. You see Seleucus right here. You see the Tigris River right there. And then you see, I want to make sure I get the right part. So I'm thinking probably right here is where you have the Great River Zab or the, what I'm thinking about, or the Lycus River. It's one of these little squiggly lines. Let me see, can I minimize it? But it's going to flow right into your Tigris River, leading on down to Babylonia. Okay. So as you see, there's two type of Seleucia. There's one Seleucia on the Tigris River here, and there's another Seleucia that is with Susa. Okay. And then we can get to 3B. This is the one I want to look at. 3B is a good one to look at too as well. And because when you look at the other sources that's listed on the Google document, they talk about Adi-Abing and Arbela. Okay, you see this is where your Great Zab River is, known as the Lycus Rivers, right here flowing into the Tigris River. So the battle took place in this area right here. Okay, so then he flowed on down, following where the river is. This is where you have Seleucus on the Tigris River. This is where you have Babylonia and the Mesopotamia area. You know, give you an idea. Okay, let's close that out. So that's available to you. Again, we just talked about Aberdeen. That's the area where he probably, you know, within that area where he had the battle. So just so you know, it's located between the Upper Zab and the Lower Zab. I also put this picture here dealing with Seleucia, so you can know that getting information about Seleucia on the Tigris River, as we see that was quoted in diaries. And the city across from Seleucia on the Tigris River is this word here. Okay. Now, the following post we'll look at is the confirmation dealing with the Lycus or the Great Zab River. Let me put this right here. And Al-Dibing and Arbela. Okay. So when you read this source here, what I want to read unto you, this comes from the Iranica Encyclopedia. It says that when you're dealing with, okay, it says the following. In 130 BC, the Seleucian king Antiochus VII, Sidetes, defeated the Parthian general Idates on the river Lycus, the greater Zab, in Adabing, okay, and it quotes from Josephus, and also cleared the Parthians from the Seleucia on the Tigris. So he also took care of those Parthians who was living at, or who was at, these Seleucians on the Tigris. Okay. But the Arsacids king Phrase II, remember we talked about him. He was the one in power before Antiochus VII came on. Mounted a successful counter-offensive, excuse my tongue, y'all, counter-offensive, and Arbela, together with the rest of Mesopotamia, was returned to Parthian control. And they also quoted from Justin. That's the same one that you see in that book that we went into. Now, this book here, titled The Hasmonean and Their Neighbors, New Historical Reconstruction from the Dead Sea Scrolls and Classical Sources by Kenneth Atkinson in 2018. Okay, this is talking about the date of the corn being in July 130 BC, which proves that Antiochus reigned over Babylonia from July the 30th, from July 130 BCE to October 129 BCE, page 49. Okay, so when you read this passage here, it said cuneiform documents and coins show that Sidetes reached Babylon before late summer. Do y'all see that? Late summer in SEB 182. So that's dealing with this Seleucid era date. When they converted, they got July or August 130 BCE. Coins minted in Seleucia on the Tigris contain the inscription, okay, Can't read this Greek yet. On the right side, and then this Greek inscription on the left side with the date 182, which is converted to 130 BCE. A bronze coin minted in the SEM 182, that's a solution date year, which converts to 129 BCE. Also celebrates his victory over the Parthians. This numismatic evidence shows that Sidetes was in the region of Babylonia from approximately July 130 BCE to October 129 BCE. So, you might see some slight variation with the month, but it's confirming what we're telling you. Summertime, where all these events took place. Pentecost, the battle at Tigris, and him entering into Babylon. And here you see their resources here. So that's the same book, okay? But in the year of 2018 by Kenneth Ackerson, again, it confirms the Lycus River, the Great Zab River, Arbela, and Ad Dabin. I'm just trying to see if I need to read this again, but that's something you can read silently. It's on the Google document, but it is confirming these areas again. Okay. Then we come across another book titled Post-Biblical History of the Jews, from the close of the Old Testament till the year 70 CE, by Morris Jacob Raffal, 1856, page 47. Again, this confirmed the Lycus, and you might see a slight spelling variation from the Lycus River, which is known as the Greater Zab River, Adabin, and also Abela. Now, interesting fact is that the Adabin is a part of the Assyrian. Okay, it's a part of the Assyrian. So in the barbarians' tongue, you would see them calling it as At-Tyriah. They replace the S. No, yeah, they replace the S with a T. And if you click on this little link here and look at page 30, you will see that. Okay, so that's proof right there. So I put this also in the Google document. So when you read this paragraph here, you will see that it's just confirming the same errors, where all these events took place. Okay. So this part concludes part 2. Okay. No, let me make sure, what part am I right? Oh, let me go on part 4. Let me make sure I'm in the right part, y'all. Oh, I'm so sorry. Make sure we're in the right part. Yep. This concludes part 3. So now we'll be going to part 4. Now we get into the nitty gritty. So whether you keep Pentecost in the 3rd or 4th month, I don't want you to stop watching these videos because there's something interesting you need to find out about the 3rd and the 4th month that you need to know. Okay, so stay tuned for part 4 of the mystery of Shavuot 49 and 50. Okay, but what we learned from part 3, to confirm everything, the date, let's go back to that chart. The date when Antiochus VII, Sidetes, erected a trophy at the Lycus River because he defeated Indates, the Parthian general. It took place on the heathen month known as July the 2nd, in the year of 130 BC, on Sunday. And when we convert that to the Hebrew year, not year, but to the Hebrew date, it fell on the 4th month on the 27th day, the day before Pentecost. So Pentecost for that year and time fell on July the 3rd, okay, in 130 BC. When we convert that date to the Hebrew date, it falls on the 4th month 28th day, which is the 50th day. And as you see, this is the day before the Sabbath. For those who follow Genesis 1:14, our Sabbath days or the 7-day rest falls on the 8th day, the 15th day, the 22nd day, and the 29th day. Let me put that in here. Sabbath. So you will have that. Trying to get my color thing, but I'm just going to type it in for right now. But it will be in red. This is our Sabbath day. And as I had confirmed it to you, this is the only method that will fit and align to the historical facts. As you see, Brother Yahusha and the Jewish way of calculating Pentecost will not even come close to these historical dates. Remember, everything must align, okay? And that is agriculture, history, math, and scriptures. Everything must align together. I hope y'all enjoy this. Take this time to look over this chart here and go before y'all and pray. All right, my brothers and sisters, continue to preach that the kingdom of heaven is at hand, for it's truly at hand, and make sure the people receive salvation as written in Romans chapter 10. For the Lamb set the example of the water baptism and the Holy Spirit baptism, and the apostle continued to both. Love you all, and shalom.